Mewtwo has got to go. It has just been way too long. It doesn't require any amount of skill. Kids who can eat a Lego can play Mewtwo to a high degree. Timmy has to stop creating these characters. Urshifu, Zacian, and now Mewtwo. They need to stop balancing characters around the idea that players are unable to play their game in any capacity. Cue the Lego eaters. This meta right now, which consists of Mewtwo, Lapras, Zacian, Urshifu, Inteleon, and Blissey, has got to be one of the worst experiences Unite has provided in recent times. So I have 3 points which will reaffirm anyone who doesn't believe Mewtwo should be shipped off Eos Island and banned for good. So let's start with point 1. And this is going to talk about Mewtwo and skill expression. So of course this is a pretty easy one. Herder, Mewtwo doesn't express much skill. Of course it doesn't. But let's look into why, right? So its moves, they aren't skill shot, they're all point and click. So when we're asking a Mewtwo player, to demonstrate any insane level of play, the maximum they can do is just point at an enemy and click a button, right? Now, this is compounded by the fact that Mewtwo, its damage is solely based on auto attacks, and these are area of effect auto attacks. So it's not like the Mewtwo's positioning himself or themselves to hit one target specifically and beat down the enemy in a strategic way. No, the Mewtwo's are just holding the A button, running into the nearest group of enemies and slaughtering everyone there. So its gameplay, it's not very talented. There's nothing amazing about it. It's not like they're holding good positioning. They're literally walking forward. And I'm going to talk a bit about this right now. It's because of this stat check. And I guess if you guys haven't heard of the word stat check, it's basically when you have higher stats. It's used in often MMO games. And it's like saying I have 1,700 health and you have 400. And if I run at you in a straight line, we have the same attack stat, I will always win. It doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter how insane you are. If I cannot do anything but hold A and you can't as well, I'm going to win every single time. And that's what Mewtwo is, right? It's stat checking anyone else who can hold the A button against it. It stat checks anyone who can hit abilities without crowd control. There's nothing you can do. And it's so overwhelming because it's a disgusting stat check. It is 1,000 damage critical strikes at level 5. It is area of effect critical strikes. It is just complete takeover. Not to mention it's unstoppable, teleport, all these abilities that reaffirm that Mewtwo is hard to get onto and hard to stop at all. So yeah, definitely not a great place to be right now in terms of talking about a skilled character. As just reflecting, no skill shots, it's got all these overpowered and overloaded abilities, which, are just genuinely insane. And it doesn't really reward anything from the Mewtwo player. We're not asking the Mewtwo player to, click button combinations to escape things. He clicks one button and half health's half your team. It's not very skilled. So now to get to my second point, which I guess is a little bit more in depth and a little bit of an iceberg theory, so please bear with me. Mewtwo is the epitome of a lazy character, and it also asks us a key question. Is this a cash grab? Are we getting shaken down? And we're going to go into this in some depth here. So the first point I want to make is the Zacian maps. So in case you don't know what it is, for the Zacian event, when they gave Zacian away for free, they introduced this tile map where you run around in a circle or whatever, and you got your Zacian coins and tokens, and after completing this circle for several days, if you did it for free, you would get Zacian. Now, you had the alternative chance to pay to complete this map, and it was about $30. Now, the problem with completing this map is that, half the player base could not buy Zacian coins in the normal allotted time. So players are pretty accustomed to this idea that we can buy a character with gems for a week, and then we can buy it with gems and coins after that week is over. And in fact, in the earlier days of Pokemon Unite, when the game was actually making quite a decent amount of money from microtransactions, such as the skins and the, what is it called? The gems? Little token things? I'll put it up on the screen. When they were doing money from that, you could buy characters on release with coins. Sylveon, I do believe, was purchasable by coins. I remember paying for that. Or at least Gardevoir and Blissey. But now, you have this idea that, you can't even look at them for a week. So Zacian comes out and you're just you can't look at this guy for a month with coins. So if you didn't play every day, you weren't getting Zacian, right? So you have this idea, and then now Mewtwo X and Y both had their individual Zacian map. And we're like, I hate not to, rub it in our faces, but immediately after these maps finished, they gave discounts on Mewtwo. They released holoware for Mewtwo. Like, everything was coincided to make Mewtwo like a big seller in the game. And that's fine, that's okay. Mewtwo can be a big seller, but does it also have to be extremely overbearing? Interesting. It just coincides a little bit too well. So X and Y, the forms of Mewtwo, they're so similar. Like, this is another big point, I guess, as I said, when we're delving a little bit into this iceberg. X and Y, like, are they different characters? I guess so. One's ranged and one's melee. But does that really make a difference? Like, it's like saying, okay, well, if you made Venus or Solar Beam, like, an area of effect circle around it. Like, if you swap the moves, right? Like the Poison Sludge that does damage, and then the other thing that heals. It's so lazy and cheap. It almost, they're so identical that, like, so Teleport does the exact same thing, with the only noticeable mechanic being that Mewtwo Y gets 2 little teleports, and Mewtwo X gets a bigger one. They both get damage buffs. You have the push and pull, and Side Strike is literally a copy-paste move. Recover, almost the same as well. So, yes, like, when we look at that, it's not good. It really, like, it starts and, feels like a cash grab.
But when does this game get fucking good?
It's not good. It's not good at all, and it really makes you a little bit unhappy about how it all goes. So conventionally, when companies resort to this type of tactic where we lower the labor, of the abilities of characters, like, we want to impress the fans, but we try to push out 2 characters incredibly quickly, and we want them to be legendary and strong everything. Conventionally, this means that a company is looking for money. Especially when we have this situation where Mewtwo is so lazily created. Like, this character isn't thought out, it's not extremely skilled, it doesn't have interesting and unique mechanics. Its mechanics are very simple. I push, I pull, I hold A, and you're dead. I have the same Unite move, the exact same Unite move, there's nothing different. Take Urshifu as a prime example. Urshifu enables a player to choose between one of 2 forms, which distinctively have different abilities at every level. And now, like, what is Mewtwo then? X and Y, ranged and melee, completely different characters. Either at Timmy Studios, they don't know how to code a melee character turning into a ranged one, or a ranged character turning into a melee, or, like, I don't even know anymore. Like, they're actually robbing us. So yeah, that's some things to think about. It definitely isn't thought out well, and it tastes bad in the mouth. So okay, now that we went a little bit into the iceberg, we have the final point. So Mewtwo has been damaging the gameplay experience and progression for every player playing Pokemon Unite. I'm going to talk about some game theory ideas, and one starts off with a compulsion loop. So how a game is designed, it's designed to reward this gameplay. So you play the game, you get the coins, you get ELO for winning, blah blah blah, right? And that makes you want to play again, because when you win, you feel valued, you feel like a dopamine boost in your brain, and that's normally going to make you want to continue this progress. These loops have been formed in things like gambling and things like addictions. They're pretty risky and dangerous for humans. Now, they also are heavily in our systems to encourage and promote getting better at things, or, like, finding rewards in the things we do in life. So we're not finding rewards for being in this compulsion loop and not using Mewtwo. So nearly every player is seeing the Mewtwo around them disgustingly take on the whole team, and then they're thinking, oh, okay, well, I should also play Mewtwo too, because I'm lowering my own capabilities by not playing Mewtwo. And hence, they actually are damaging their own progress. If you wanted to master your own character, you're going to end up succumbing to this Mewtwo meta and hurting your own experience and your own progression into becoming a talented and skilled player. And you actually hurt this reward process in your brain, which not only hurts Unite's and Timmy's chances to make more money and to keep you on the game for longer, but also hurts your potential progression as a Unite player. So the studies that I'm talking about, I'm going to show some Wikipedia page, whatever. Studies have shown that you're going to get a dopamine boost in your brain, and they're normally associated to relatively learning experiences. You do well in a game, and you're going to feel good about yourself, and you're going to want to continue to do better. And that's just not happening the same, and it just forces more and more people onto Mewtwo. Mewtwo is like a large tumor growing near the brain of Pokemon Unite. If left unchecked, it will spread and wipe out any chance of keeping Unite in a playable state. People don't like the same experience when they play a mobile game. This is evidenced by thousands of updates across every major MOBA in the last decade. When a character is so uncharacteristically overpowered, overwhelming, and dominant, players are going to feel frustrated and players are going to want to leave. And there's a lot of things which Unite can do better. But if I had the chance to help Timmy, I would say let's start by fixing Mewtwo. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Nerf Mewtwo, fix this meta, we deserve better, Unite deserves better. See you next time.